Long ago, there was a man whose wife conceived but failed to give birth. All the other wives who conceived at the same time gave birth several times while she remained pregnant. Other men tried to convince her husband to get rid of her, but he remained faithful to his wife. He always told them that he could not chase away his wife without knowing what she was expecting. When his relatives found that he could not abandon his wife, they decided to keep away from him. Even his father took back everything he had given him, hoping that his son would one day change his mind, but he remained truthful to his wife. Then his relatives plotted to kill him, claiming that the couple was really an embarrassment to their family. At the same time, their country was facing a very hard time. Foreign armies had attacked it from all corners and ruined it. The cattle had been taken away and most wells had been surrounded by thick forests. Their king had been under house arrest for more than 20 years. One day, the overdue expecting mother was busy preparing food for lunch when she suddenly heard a voice from her womb saying, "Mother, please give birth to me right now." "Wait a minute, let me finish preparing lunch for your father. I do not have anyone else to do all this for me. Besides, once I give birth, your father may die of hunger because everyone in this village hates us," answered the shocked mother. The expected child remained patient, and when his mother had finished preparing lunch, he reminded her, "Okay, now that you have finished doing everything, give birth to me." The mother went to give birth in her bedroom, but the child refused and instructed her to give birth to him at the fireplace in the couch where every passerby could see. So the mother went there and gave birth. Traditional midwives tried to separate the child from the umbilical cord, but the child did not allow them. He did it himself, saying, "A real man must be able to set himself free." He added, "My brother, who is still in the womb, must be removed quickly but carefully." His twin brother was born almost immediately. He looked at his brother and marveled. Then he told his mother, "My twin brother is called Gato, while my name is Gakuru." Meanwhile, word of the twin brothers' birth spread like bushfire. Those who had planned to kill their father withdrew their plans. Some people were heard saying, "It is not surprising to hear them talk. They had spent more than 20 years in their mother's womb." Others would ask mockingly, "Are those children bearded? Do they have teeth?" Such questions prompted sporadic laughter, but the comment that greeted the biggest laughter came from one old man who calmly said, "Those babies must be drunk by now. I saw their father carrying a big pot of wine in the morning." The day that followed, the twins asked their father to show them where they could get spears, bows and arrows. After acquiring those weapons, they went to their grandfather and asked why he took away their father's property. On seeing how they were armed, the old man chose to give them everything he had taken from their father without uttering a word. That day, they led home a very big herd of cattle, and their parents were very happy as life returned back to normal. In the evening, they milked the cows and took milk to their mother, who was still recuperating in bed. They went to bed early because they had to wake up at the first cockcrow to do general cleaning. They also had to clear the overgrown bush around their house. Their father had been too weak to clear it while their mother had remained pregnant all through. And their daily routine, among other activities, included milking the cows, looking after them, and taking them to the well to drink water. The twins were really born at the right time. Everyone wondered how one-day-old children could do all that, but the children did not pay any attention to what people said. They minded their own business as if they had lived even longer than anyone else in the village. The twins' courage was witnessed one afternoon when they took the cattle to the well for the first time. Like many wells in the country, that particular one had been abandoned because of pythons and crocodiles that lived in it and in the nearby swamps. They had killed many herdsmen and their cows. The villagers had tried to kill the animals but failed. Eventually, they decided to abandon the well altogether. When villagers saw the twins leading their cattle to that well, They screamed and warned them about the dangerous pythons. The twins ignored the villagers' advice and went straight to the well. They cleared the bush around it, and all of a sudden, huge pythons appeared from all directions. The twins clubbed them one by one until there was none left. They did the same thing to other wells, and within 1 month, all the wells in the country had been redeemed. Ruyenzi, one of their neighbors, lived on the opposite hill. He had 2 daughters, Entonde and Nayirabeza. Both girls had refused to get married. Each would ridicule any man who came to ask for her hand in marriage. 1 month after their birth, the twin brothers passed near Ruyenzi's house and saw his daughters mocking a young man who had come to propose marriage to one of them. Those girls had prepared a series of very complicated tests that had to be passed by any man who wished to marry them. The twin brothers watched how the frustrated young man struggled to pass the tests and felt sorry for him. They also observed that even if he passed the tests, he would end up being mistreated by the girl. So the twins went straight to the girls, grabbed them and carried them to their house. They then informed the girls that they were to stay there as their wives from then onwards. They went on with their schedules, leaving their wives at home. When they came home in the evening, they found that their wives were busy helping their mother-in-law in her daily work. Everyone was happy. That evening, they enjoyed some wine. The family had grown stronger and larger. News about the strange twins continued spreading and reached their besieged king, who noted with appreciation how they had saved the country from the deadly reptiles. He secretly called them to his palace. When they arrived, he asked them to help him liberate the country. They remained at the palace for a few days. They assessed all the possibilities, and finally, Gakuru told the king, "We shall begin from here. We shall first liberate this palace from the enemy, then spread countrywide." The king thought that it was a good idea and then provided the twin brothers with any help they needed. In the middle of the night, Gakuru and his brother attacked the foreign soldiers that had been guarding the palace. By morning, every member of the foreign army had been wiped out. Gakuru quickly organized the army into 2 battalions. He led one and asked Gato to lead the other one. Within 2 weeks, the entire country had been liberated and both armies came home victorious. When they came back to the palace, they were sorry to find that their king had died on the first day of the battle. He had been shot by a stray arrow, and it went unnoticed until the war was over. After mourning their beloved king, the army decided to enthrone Gakuru because, after all, it was he who had organized and led the liberation struggle. Thereafter, Gakuru led his country to great prosperity and developed good relationship with other neighboring nations.